Channel 11 News on Fox 53 at 10.
A man was killed, another hospitalized after a shooting in broad daylight in Pittsburgh's Hill District. This was just after 1 o'clock on Bedford Avenue. That's just a block away from the new August Wilson house. When medics arrived, they pronounced one man dead, the other victim in stable condition with an injury to their hand.
The shooting victim was discovered inside, just inside the door, and then the person that had the hand injury was located like right out here on the sidewalk.
It's not clear how that shooting started. Police have not yet arrested a suspect. If you have any information, please call Pittsburgh Police. The Fayette County coroner was called to the scene of a crash in Uniontown this evening. This is video from the crash. That's along Route 51. This is right by the Get-Go and the Oliver Square Plaza. Fayette County dispatchers tell us crews were called there around 4:30. We have calls out to state police in Uniontown, and we'll let you know just as soon as we know more. Also in Fayette County, a mobile home destroyed in a fire this afternoon. It broke out just before 3 on Pletcher Road. That's in Salt Lake Township. By the time we arrived, the mobile home had been destroyed. It's not clear if anyone was home at the time, but dispatchers tell us no one had to be taken to the hospital from the scene. Here's a live look at downtown Pittsburgh on a fairly calm night. Perfect weather for a campfire. There you go. What a great suggestion. Let's bring in meteorologist Stephanie Allison. Stephanie, it stayed dry today, but can we keep that going?
It did. And you know what? We are going to see some rain in the forecast the second half of the weekend. So we've been talking about this 50-50 weekend. Dry the first half, and we do have some wet weather for the second half. Right now, overcast skies. You can see those marks there at 60. It's beautiful. Beautiful evening, nice and cool, not as chilly as last night and the night before. So overnight lows have been in the 40s the last 2 nights, and tonight we're just going to sit in the 50s. Now there might be some isolated spots that get a little bit chilly, but Pittsburgh right now 60 degrees. We've had dew points in the 40s. That is now changing, so it's been dry. We are comfortable now. We're going to stay with dew points in the 50s tonight, and overnight those clouds continue. We're going to stay right there in the upper 50s because of the cloud cover, really not allowing those temperatures to tumble tonight. But we do have that rain and the chance for some thunderstorms in the forecast for Sunday. I will time that out, show you impacts possible in your neighborhood for tomorrow. That's coming up in about 15 minutes. Rich?
Thank you, Stephanie. New details tonight after a man led police on a chase through 2 Allegheny County communities. Police say this man, Robert Populo, was already wanted for 4 violent robberies in McKees Rocks and 1 in the city of Pittsburgh. Then on Friday afternoon, he allegedly carjacked someone, leading police on a chase. Police say during that chase, Populo struck another car, injuring a child who was taken to Children's Hospital. That chase ended here along Middletown Road in Sheridan, where he allegedly crashed that car and ran away. Police caught up with him, and he's now in the Allegheny County Jail. We're also learning more tonight about an incident out of Aliquippa. A man facing charges after a shooting there. This happened yesterday afternoon on Main Street. That's not too far from the junior-senior high school. Investigators found a man shot when they got on scene. The 19-year-old was taken to the hospital. According to police, 30-year-old Stanley Pugh is now facing charges, including attempted homicide. And the latest now on a story we brought you is breaking news last night. One person taken to the hospital after a crash on the Parkway West involving several cars. This was last night around 10:30 just beyond the Banksville Road exit. The crash backed up traffic through the Fort Pitt Tunnel and clear back to the Portal Bridge. We're still working to learn the condition of the person taken to the hospital and if there were any other injuries. One person had to be flown to the hospital after a fiery multi-vehicle crash in Westmoreland County last night. This is a picture from our partners at the Trib. It happened in Hempfield Township on Arona Road. That's near the intersection with Westlake Drive. The helicopter there landed at West Hempfield Elementary School. We don't know yet exactly how many vehicles were involved or how anyone else in that crash is doing. The mother of a dairy woman killed in a car crash has filed a wrongful death suit. Our partners at the Trib say Marilyn Condrich crashed into Jennifer Crinnock on the driver's side on Pandora Road in Derry. Crinnock died as a result of her injuries. The Westmoreland County DA says the office is investigating but has not filed any charges. Condrich's blood tests for the suit are pending. We are just 44 days away now from Election Day here in Pennsylvania. Things are really heating up between Senate candidates Dr. Mehmet Oz and Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman. Fetterman held a rally in Philadelphia today and responded to criticisms from Dr. Oz about his health. He says his only lingering issue from his stroke is hearing and processing certain words.
I'm so grateful to be here today, and I'm just so grateful. And recovering from that stroke, I'm so good to know that I'm out here in front of all of you today.
Meanwhile, Dr. Oz released his medical records yesterday. A New York doctor said he is, quote, in excellent health. In just over a month, our very own Lisa Sylvester will co-moderate a debate between Dr. Oz and Lieutenant Governor Fetterman. That debate will air live right here on Channel 11 and across our streaming platforms. It's scheduled for October 25th. West Virginia University opened their first children's hospital today. The CEO of West Virginia Health said he wanted to be a one-stop shop where they could care for any child or woman with a high-risk pregnancy.
This is probably the biggest and boldest thing we could do as a healthcare system to commit to being the best and taking care of our children.
The construction of this hospital took nearly 4 years. WVU Children says they want to connect with and support children of all ages. People serving in the armed forces protected us against threats throughout the years, and today those vets and their families were able to get protection against serious illness. That includes COVID-19. As Lori Hoy reports, the VA offered a one-stop solution in Oakland.
Public health officials are strongly recommending getting both the flu shot and the new COVID bivalent booster at once. Here at the Veterans Hospital in Oakland, veterans are doing just that.
All you can do is protect yourself as best you can.
Bill Haas from Swissvale started off his Saturday with a trip to the VA Pittsburgh healthcare system to get not one, but 2 shots in the arm.
Got all the other shots, might as well get these. Made it this far without getting bit by the bug.
A walk-in clinic was held for veterans, their spouses, and caregivers. Many chose to get both the flu shot and the new COVID bivalent booster that contains the original strain and the Omicron variant. This Army veteran had his reasons for getting both shots at the same time.
Saves me a trip. I run back and forth when everything's right here anyway. Be done with it.
Doctors say there could be side effects with the shots, such as tenderness at the injection site, headaches, fatigue. A small number of people may develop a fever. For Haas, not a concern.
A little soreness once or twice, but other than that, nothing.
If you have any concerns about getting both vaccines at the same time, the CDC says you should talk to your health care provider. From Oakland, Lori Hoy, Channel 11 News.
A county oversight board demanding answers after an inmate dies at the county jail. Tonight, we're hearing from a member of the county oversight board who says there's more to this story. Channel 11's Talia Kirkland spoke with her after combing through court documents. Talia, what happened?
Rich, after being incarcerated for only 2 weeks, 57-year-old Anthony Talata, a man with severe mental disability, died on Wednesday. This is now Allegheny County Jail's 17th death in 18 months, and now the Oversight Board wants answers.
He had been in there for less than 2 weeks, and now he is dead.
On September 9th, 57-year-old Anthony Talata, who has severe mental disabilities, was arrested and charged with aggravated assault and prohibited use of a weapon. According to police documents, Talata, who lived at a home for people with disabilities, poured boiling water onto a staff member while cooking dinner and then stabbed them with a kitchen knife. As a result, he was taken to county jail.
A man such as Mr. Talata should have never been in the jail in the first place. A man with severe intellectual disabilities, severe autism, should not have been in a correctional institution.
In a statement released by the jail, it explains that Talata was experiencing a medical emergency on September 20th. A physician at the jail assessed him and then cleared him to go back to his unit until hours later another emergency began. This time, Talata was sent to the hospital. A day later, he died.
I went to the jail and I talked to the people who were incarcerated on Mr. Talata's pod. And their experiences watching a man die in front of them were heartbreaking.
Bethany Hallam, a member of the Oversight Board, says the notification of Talata's death is also a concern. She says the board wasn't notified. A jail spokesperson said after an individual is released from custody, the jail no longer has any right to view health information, and if there is a death, the medical examiner's office will release that info. Talata was being held on a $1,000 bond. The jail said if Talata had posted $100, he would have been released.
This is a complete failure from the top all the way down to the bottom.
Talata does have an attorney, and his death is under investigation. Live here in the city of Pittsburgh, I'm Talia Kirkland, Channel 11 News on Fox 53.
Natalia, thank you. The EPA has created a new office dedicated to environmental justice. It's a new initiative intended to address air and water quality in low-income areas. It was launched by Administrator Michael Reagan, who's the first black man to run the agency. The new office will oversee the $3 billion climate and environmental justice program created by the Inflation Reduction Act. Ford is unable to deliver some of its best-selling vehicles for a seemingly small reason. Supply chain issues mean they don't have enough of the blue Ford brand badges. The company won't say how many of the 40,000 vehicles stuck in inventory are there for this reason. Supply chain issues like this one may be part of why Ford's stock is down 41% this year. The YMCA on Center Avenue celebrating its 100th anniversary as a historic landmark. Early in its history, the Center Avenue Y hosted famous jazz musicians and Pitt's first African-American students. Today it provides low-income housing for people in Pittsburgh's Hill District. The executive director tells us it's always been a welcoming location.
It was built by black Pittsburghers at a time where they could not attend the downtown YMCA. So a group of people had the spirit to create their own facility.
Swanson says the Center Ave Y is a cultural icon in the city that brings people together. An iconic race steps off tomorrow in the city of Pittsburgh, but today it was all about the kids. A look at the Junior Great Race taking over downtown. A sure sign of progress. We're getting an update on the work being done on the Neville Island Bridge. Post-tropical cyclone Fiona has done serious damage to Canada. The new concerns for Canadians, plus the new threat in the tropics. This morning, the remnants of Hurricane Fiona slammed into Canada's Atlantic coast. This is video right here from Nova Scotia, where the storm left behind destruction. Meantime, the southern U.S. bracing for Tropical Storm Ian, which is set to strike this week. David Daniel has the latest.
We want to see Nova Scotians get through this.
This is just some of the damage Fiona brought to Nova Scotia after making landfall early Saturday morning. You can see trees ripped from the ground. Packing hurricane-force winds, the storm knocked out power to hundreds of thousands of Canadians in what's being called a landmark weather event. This is video from Port aux Basques in Newfoundland, where the storm destroyed homes along the coast and flooding inundated streets in Prince Edward Island. The mayor of Port aux Basques issued a warning to curious residents on Facebook.
There are too many people on our streets traveling around, taking pictures and just out trying to see what's going on. We have telephone poles that are falling in around the community, that are falling down. There are live wires on some of these poles. We do not need people out just cruising around the streets. We need you to stay home.
Fiona made landfall in Puerto Rico as a Category 1 storm last Sunday, causing extensive damage and widespread flooding. It left at least 5 people dead as it battered the Caribbean before it reached Canada's eastern coast as a post-tropical cyclone. Now concern grows over Tropical Storm Ian. It formed late Friday in the Caribbean, and it's expected to strengthen into a hurricane before hitting Florida.
This area of the Northwest Caribbean is very conducive for strengthening. Very, very warm ocean.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is warning residents to remain vigilant and expanded a state of emergency from 24 counties to the entire state. David Daniel, Channel 11 News.
Today, Russian President Vladimir Putin toughened punishments for soldiers who commit crimes. That includes 10 years in jail for soldiers not following orders. This comes on the same day 730 Russians were arrested for protesting against Russia's military draft. And this is a live look at the Neville Island Bridge, where the final southbound closure of the summer started last night. It's the 4th time PennDOT has closed the southbound lanes of I-79. Crews have been working on that bridge all summer long, including work on the bridge deck and painting the steel. The southbound lanes are scheduled to reopen Monday morning. The entire project will be done sometime next year. Young runners took part in Pittsburgh's Junior Great Race this morning. More than 600 kids took off from Point State Park to enjoy this nice weather. They also held an event for toddlers and one for babies with mats for them to crawl around on.
We start with this kids event here in Point State Park on Saturday. We have the family fun run, the Tot Trot, the diaper dash, something for the kids.
Tomorrow is Great Race Sunday, which features a 5K and 10K. The race director tells us he expects 10,000 participants tomorrow.
You're your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
Good evening, I'm meteorologist Stephanie Allison. So it's dry the first half of the weekend. As I mentioned, we were going to start to see some precipitation as we move into the second half of the weekend. And here is the next system on the way. So we've already noticed the clouds that have increased in the forecast. So we have those overcast skies with us. That's going to keep temperatures up a little bit tonight. So we are falling down into the 50s right now, but we're not going to see the 40s for many of us tonight. Really just hanging out in the mid 50s as we move through the overnight hours. Dew points are rising a little bit. It's not going to be too humid, but we will see some showers in the forecast as we kick off the day tomorrow. So average high this time of year, 72, average overnight low, lower 50s. And tonight we're going to be close to average for overnight lows. We're going to be about 55 degrees. So winds out of the south at about 4 miles per hour. This is also going to change. The winds are going to really kick up tomorrow without a thunderstorm. Winds are going to be kind of breezy, 15 miles per hour sustained, gusting up to 25, 30 miles per hour tomorrow through the daytime. So even in the afternoon hours, we're going to see those gusts without a thunderstorm. So tomorrow morning, as you wake up and walk out the door, 8 a.m., 60 degrees, 9 o'clock, 61. If you're headed to the Great Race tomorrow, just be prepared for some wet weather. We will have some light showers in the area. Could see a little bit of a pocket of moderate rain come down. And even a chance of thunder cannot be ruled out for the morning hours. It does look like the better chance for severe weather is the second half of the day, but really you still have that chance of some thunder in the area in the morning. So noon tomorrow, 65. Temperatures will be a little bit warmer, 68 degrees because of the winds coming in from the southwest. Now it is going to be a cloudy day tomorrow, and I mentioned it's also going to be kind of breezy, so gusts up to about 25 miles per hour. And look at this. We do have the chance for an isolated strong storm, and a strong storm could bring some damaging winds. That's potential. Some small hail. There is a very low threat for an isolated tornado, but I'm putting it in there because that is possible. So just be weather aware tomorrow. So tomorrow morning we are going to start with clouds, but those showers will develop in the morning hours. Some thunder possible in the morning, and even between 10:30 and 11 o'clock as this kind of pushes through. So that's the first round. Second round in the afternoon, you can see an isolated storm popping in here. So that's what I'm talking about, where we could see an isolated strong storm develop. So something we'll watch for you as we head into tomorrow. You know, we'll be tracking that. And as you're out and about, download our Severe Weather Team 11 app, because any weather alerts, they come right to your phone. So it's really good to have on hand. Temperatures on Monday, 65, upper 50s, Tuesday, Wednesday, dry Thursday at 60.
New images tonight from Buckingham Palace, which released a picture of Queen Elizabeth's final resting place. She was buried there Monday, and the new stone has her name and that of her husband, Prince Philip. The Queen died this month after 70 years on the throne. If you're looking for something to get you in the fall spirit, how about the Phantom Fall Fest at Kennywood? This is now the 20th year for the spooky event. The festival opens to the public today. This year's attractions include a new maze called Malice in Wonderland. Idlewild Park also kicked off its Halloween Fall Festival in Westmoreland County today.
It's one of the boldest mazes we've done yet. We've got third-party experts that we've brought in to do all the design, the costumes, the training the actors, and it's a choose-your-own-adventure maze. So there's actually two different ways you can go, down the rabbit hole or through the looking glass.
Kennywood also planning family-friendly activities during the day on Saturdays and Sundays. The Pitt Panthers overcome a number of challenges to emerge victorious at home. We're breaking down the key to today's win. The defense struggled at times, mostly because of injury, but the offense did more than enough for the Pitt Panthers to get a win over Rhode Island at Acrisure Stadium. Aliquippa product MJ Devonshire set the tone just a few weeks after his dramatic pick six in the backyard brawl. Devonshire finds another way to score an 82-yard punt return for a touchdown that electrified that Pitt crowd and gave the Panthers an early 7-0 lead. From there, it was the Izzy show, the Izzy Abanikanda show. He had himself a day. It started with a 67-yard run for a touchdown in the first quarter to put the Panthers up by 3. Izzy had 3 more touchdowns, scoring 1 in each quarter. Pitt with an easy victory against Rhode Island 45-24. Several milestones today in the game for Abanikanda. He's the first Pitt player to have 4 rushing touchdowns in a game since Darren Hall in 2017. MJ Devonshire, the first player to have an interception and a punt return for a touchdown in the same season since Darrell Revis did it in 2006. Both are from Aliquippa, and Pat Narduzzi won his 56th game as Pitt head coach, tying him for 3rd all-time. Only Pop Warner and Jock Sutherland are ahead of him. The Panthers start ACC play next week. Georgia Tech comes to Acrisure Stadium Saturday. A week later, the Panthers host Virginia Tech before going on a bye. After that bye, they have 2 road ACC games at Louisville and at North Carolina. Well, the Steelers have a lot to think about with the weekend off after losing 2 games in just 5 days. The losses to the Pats and Browns left the Steelers with 1 win and 2 losses to start the season. While they know they need to make improvements, they're not hitting the panic button. But they do have a tough schedule coming up. Next Sunday, they host the Jets, but after that, they're on the road at Buffalo, home for Tampa Bay, then back-to-back road games at Miami and Philadelphia.
I mean, because I just know it's a long process, you know. Like I said, you know, we got 14 of these things that we're staring down, and we got a heck of a schedule coming up, you know. So it's can't get too high, can't get too low, because you know you got a job to do for the coming months.
Yeah, be sure to join us on Fox 53 for NFL action tomorrow. The Ravens at the Patriots at 1 p.m. The Packers at the Bucks at 4:25. So nice quarterback matchup there. That's right here. That's on Fox 53 tomorrow. Jeff Carter left practice early for the Penguins. Coach Mike Sullivan said he's dealing with an upper body injury. This is the team plans for an unusual split squad game tomorrow. We see those in baseball, but not so much in hockey. Mike Sullivan dealing with those unique circumstances.
We're going to divide our Wilkes-Barre staff with those guys, and then I'm going to try to go to both games. So I think that yeah, that's the only way. I think just thinking it through that we could make that happen. So but this is my first experience for them.
One group of Penguins will take on Columbus at PPG Paints Arena in the annual Kids game. That's at 1 p.m. Another group of Penguins will be at Columbus for a 7 p.m. puck drop on Sunday. We'll see you back here tomorrow night at 10. Enjoy your Saturday night.